nonprofit organizations deserve software that provides accurate and useful data that's available immediately and that's easy to consume and easy to work with. This nonprofit management system does just that. It's designed for simplicity and efficiency. It's somewhat modular in nature. There's contact management, there's fundraising, there's program management, there's volunteer management, there's day-to-day activities if you want to track things like that as well. What you're looking at right now is a typical dashboard that is designed to sort of abstract the amount of data that's behind the system and bring it to the fore so that you can see it in context. Now, someone designed this that had certain pieces of data in mind that they wanted to see. For instance, they wanted to see the pipeline of opportunities, active opportunities, by the stage. Over on the right, we can create a component that shows transactions over time. We can have individual donors. Here we have opportunities by opportunity type. Let's dive into the data a little bit. Organizations. Whenever you click on anything in this system on the left side, you're presented with a list of that item that you clicked. So I clicked on organizations. Now, as you can see, we can track different types of organizations in the same database, in the same table even, and just characterize them. So some of these are vendors, some are partners, some are donors. Shows the people that are associated with each individual one. Shows some basic information about contact, place, and so forth. And it's quite easy to just add columns if necessary to round out the data more if you like, and order those columns simply by dragging and dropping them. You can export any list to Excel, but even more than that, you can actually open it in Excel online, make changes, and update the database as if it were an Excel spreadsheet that just pushes data upward, which it does. Views, and again, these are lists of data. A view is very simple to change and also customize. So if I have active organizations of all types, I can also create one called supporting organizations. And this means that these are organizations that have supported your nonprofit in the past with actual transactions, actual donations. And there is the total amount for each one of them. And this data, of course, is rolled up automatically whenever transactions are logged into the system. The same is true for just about everything on the left here with respect to the ability to navigate to those records. So for instance, if I click on contacts, now I'm looking at a list of people, and the system is flexible enough to be able to track the different and varying relationships that people have with organizations. As you know, there are different roles that people might serve. They might be donors, they might be volunteers, they might be vendors, they could be partners, they might be board members, or they might be combinations of those things. And so you definitely need a system that can very easily and quickly show you what the relationships are with these individuals. And by the same token, you can create views that you can switch to, which show different information. So donors, those people who donate to your system, here's the total giving for those donors. For people who volunteer, if they're volunteers, here are the people who actually volunteer. And you can see that there's the total hours here listed. Now, like anywhere else in the system, when you click on one of these records, the intention is for you to see everything you might possibly want to know about that individual. So this is a person named Athena Dillon. Athena Dillon serves various roles in the organization, as you can see. Athena's made donations to the organization. This is the total amount that she's made. There are upcoming opportunities with Athena. At least there's one anyway. There can be any number of these. As well, she appears to be a volunteer. So if I click on volunteer management, I can see that we can track her soft skills at a high level, at the level of the contact if we want to, and hard skills as well, which is very useful and helpful for us lining her up to volunteer opportunities. And then here's the actual activities themselves. And the way the system works is you simply create a new volunteer activity, you give it a start and an end type, the subject, and if it's program-based, you give it a program. Then you save it. And what happens is that the number of hours are automatically calculated, the number of minutes rolled up and added to Athena's entire profile, and the total number of hours as well. Now, this is calculated every 12 hours automatically, but you can always click here and just recalculate if you've entered new data. So this is a typical example of a record where you want to see everything you could possibly know about Athena. Now, if you had some kind of interaction with her, beyond just donations or beyond opportunities or volunteer management, and you wanted to log something like that, like an important phone call or maybe give a task, you can just click here, and you can even send emails straight out of the system. You can create appointments, and those appointments will go out of the system. It's completely and totally integrated with Microsoft Outlook. You can add notes. The notes, of course, are time-stamped and date-stamped for the individual who's entering the note. And again, this is true throughout most of the system with respect to things like these kinds of activities. You can do the same thing with organizations. Let's have a look at opportunities, some fundraising data. Now, this is where you would work with the actual data. And so you can see here that there are different types of opportunities. There's donations, there's volunteering, there's subscriptions, there's recurring gifts, there's membership, all different kinds. And as you can see, there are people associated with some of these things, and there's organizations associated with others. And of course, that can be both. It's possible to have an opportunity that has a contact associated with it as well as an organization. Recurring gifts are kind of interesting. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. You enter the total amount, the type, identification, you work on the stage, and then you work it until the point at which it has been closed. But with a recurring gift, it's kind of interesting. So you can open up a recurring gift opportunity, and you can set the number of pledges, the recurring amount, and the cycle. So if you have 12 pledges at $100 on a monthly cycle beginning this day, you simply save this record. You wait maybe 30 seconds or so. You click on Related, and then now you will see the recurring pledges automatically created. And here they are, starting at 1:15, going all the way up until the most recent one. Well, the last one would be 12:15. And it's also possible to close out these pledges. When you do close them out as received, you create a transaction automatically. Now, pledges are one thing. Transactions are actual money. They're designed to track that. You can use the system however you want to track it. But the intention here is to receive transactions underneath either contacts or accounts and log those transactions as different types. And there are different types of transactions. There are donations and expenses. So it's actually possible in this system to also track expenses. In some cases, transactions can be in-kind transactions. You can mark it as such. It can be an anonymous one if necessary. As you can see, there's just basic baseline information. And the way that the system is intended is that when you set something related to something else. So if I've got this transaction and this transaction is related to JP Morgan Chase, it's a donation, I can click on JP Morgan Chase. And of course that makes it possible for me to see all of the transactions and donations that occurred underneath. And that's over here, but you can also click on related and you can go to transactions here as well. You can see the different donations. Program management, it's very similar. Program management, you can see it's relatively high level, but the idea is that you've got a program, you've got basic information, the description, you can have a start date if you wanted to. The idea is that you have related information, and under that related information are things like volunteer activity, things like opportunities, recurring pledges, and various transactions. You can see that's how the given program is supported. This is all quite helpful for reporting, and you can create charts, as you saw before, by program and things like that. That's a quick demo. We don't have much more time. 10 minutes is plenty. I hope this helps you to understand how this software can help your organization. Thank you.